Mark Bachman from the Fly Fishing Shop in Welches, Oregon. I want to show you how to tie a polar leech or egg-sucking polar leech steelhead fly. I messed around with polar chenille quite a bit, and I really like the texture of it and the way it moves in the water. I've tied smallmouth bass flies, trout flies for lakes, steelhead, and salmon flies. I've used it for hackle-on spay flies and all different kinds of stuff. Tell you what, you know, it's got a translucency and sparkle to it that really attracts fish, and I really like the stuff. It's easy to use and it's durable. Hard combination to beat. So let me show you one of my pet flies tied with that. First thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a Pro Tube nano tube. It's a tube that has tungsten powder in the plastic mix, so it has about a type 4 sink rate. I'm going to slide that right on my Pro Flexi needle. Then you're going to need some black thread. My personal choice here is Vivus 10-aught. I use it for a lot of different things, different sizes of flies. It's pretty handy because you can put down a lot of wraps without making much bulk. So I'm going to start my thread a full 1/4 of an inch behind the end of the tube. In this case, it's black thread. I'm going to wrap it all the way to the back. You don't need a lot of different materials for this fly. Purple marabou, purple polar chenille, and the purple flashabou, a pink bead, don't know if you can see it there or not. You'll see it well enough though when I put it on the tube. And you're going to need a silicone hook holder. My choice for this is orange. Alright, so we're going to get going here. We're going to take this purple feather. This is a fine stem feather. I'm going to train it back like so to find a place to tie it in. It's going to wind from the tip. Wet it down a little bit to kind of train it. Set it down on top of our tube. Give it a couple of wraps. Now, you don't need to worry about the durability at this point because this is going to all be wrapped down with polar chenille. Take a hackle plier, put it over the stem of the marabou, any way it fits on there, and we're just going to palmer that down and pull the fibers back as we do that. There we go. Pull it back, tie it down. Pull it back and tie it down. Pull it back, tie it down, pull it back, tie it down, pull it back, tie it down, and there we go. We got both the body and the tail of our fly. We're going to tie it down here with a thread. I'm going to take the point of our scissors, and I'm going to go back in there, and I'm going to break loose all that stuff that was tied down by the feather stem. And I'm just going to wrap this down very quickly. Now there's a bump right there. That's the end of the tube. Tie that down there, like so. Come back. Get rid of that stem of that marabou feather right there. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take 3 or 4 strands of flashabou, and I'm going to drape it over my thread and place it right on top of the tube. Now I've kind of left it divided in half here so I can run it down each side of the tube as I come back towards the tail. And these strands here are very unruly because they've been kinked up. I'm going to pull them back, and I'm going to divide them in half, and I'm going to wrap them down each side of the tube. So they are equally divided on each side of the tail. Now, I'm going to go clear back to the front of the tube. Right here, still got my 1/4 inch. Going to leave that bare so I can put a bead on the top of it. Okay, wrap all the way back. Wrap all the way forward. Now, I pull this stuff up here, and I'm going to kind of pull all these strands on one side. And this stuff will have a natural kind of a twist in it, so a person can find where that is and just divide that in half, and then get yourself a reasonable amount of distance there. Pull it back and wrap. Pull it back and wrap. Pull it back and wrap. Now we don't have to have these wraps right next to each other because, as you can see, the whole tube is covered up with that marabou feather that I wound on to begin with. Now this marabou feather not only forms the body of the fly, but it's wrapped all the way around the tube, so the tail itself surrounds the whole body of the fly, whole body of the tube, I should say. Okay. Wrap it up pretty close right there. And about one more wrap here. Now, I'm going to tie that off. We're about 85% done with this fly right now. Going to nip that off. Okay. Tie that down. Let's use 2 of them. Get rid of the thread. Put the bead on it. Right there. Now I'm going to slide this forward so I don't cut in to the mandrel with my scissors. These are really sharp scissors. They're really great scissors. They're Dr. Slick razor scissors. Okay, so I've left about 1/16 of an inch of the tube sticking out. I take this gigantic lighter, and I'm going to melt this tube back. So now it'll hold the bead in place. You always want to test this when you do this. You make sure that you've got an open hole there. And I normally just shove the mandrel right through that. There. Now, I'm going to take my orange silicone hook holder, and I'm going to find the rear end of the tube again, and I'm going to shove the fly back on the mandrel and inside of the hook holder. I'm going to gather up all this flashabou that I had for the long side of each side of the tail, and I'm going to cut that off just so it's slightly longer than the tail itself. I'm going to take a 452X Daiichi hook, and I'm going to slide it inside of that hook holder, and there you can see the finished fly. Now, unlike most woolly buggers, this tail is not going to get wrapped up in this hook because the hook is almost the same length as the tail. It's a short, standard length hook, but because it's in back of a tube and inside of a hook holder, it's back behind the fly pretty much. And by the time you tie a knot on your leader, you know, tie the hook on the end of your leader with a knot, that knot is going to take up a little bit more room in there, so the hook is going to be, you know, 1/8 of an inch back farther. So these things do not foul. I'm going to pick out this Polar chenille, so now you can actually see, you know, it's got quite a bit of loft to it and everything. It's a great fly. Thanks for watching.